Good evening, and welcome to the Travs podcast, episode 34.
Whoop, whoop.
How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. We just got to watch the SpaceX launch.
That was exciting.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So that was at 7:27 Eastern Standard Time. It was Crew Dragon. They had 4 astronauts. They set up a previous launch in May 30th. It was originally May 27th, got moved to May 30th.
Yep.
And that was 2 astronauts. So it was pretty exciting. This is the second one this year. So they're going to the space station.
Yeah, I feel like this one wasn't as long. I mean, the commentary wasn't as long.
Nah.
I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because
it was pretty short. There wasn't like as much media hype, I don't think.
Yeah, the first one, they followed the guys all the way till they got to that first point, and they didn't do that this time.
Well, they did the boosters. They always show the booster landing after the launch. So that was successful, as it usually is. SpaceX has it down pretty much right now. But yeah, it's exciting. It was a successful launch. As an American, it's exciting. It's watching history happen. So
crazy.
In other historical news, we got a puppy.
We did. It's been so long since we did a podcast. I feel like it's been almost a month.
I think it has been almost a month. I think we did Sober October, and I think we did one after Sober October.
So the last...
But it was I think it was the Halloween one, actually, was the last one.
Yeah, but we were still sober. We did
that
for
that one. Because that was the week prior to Halloween.
That was the week prior to John's party on the 24th.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So it was 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
Because we got Zoe that Friday, the 23rd. Mm-hmm. Zoe's our puppy. We rescued her from East Coast Adoptions. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing at you. It was just your excitement. But
well, I've been looking for a while.
Yeah.
And I saw her, and I'm like, oh, apply.
Yeah. No, she's been kind of hinting toward a dog, all summer, so.
Well, I wasn't ready, however many months ago, and I just felt like the time was ready, and I was looking at all different dog rescues. I put in a couple applications. The problem with dog rescues is that these dogs go quick. You know, they get these transports from Alabama or Texas, and then they'll post the dogs, and they'll be like, these dogs are coming Friday, and you have to call and be like, I want to reserve this dog, and then you have to show up that weekend when the dog comes there, or within a few days, which is great that all these dogs are getting adopted really quick, but it's hard. And it's I'm stalking these pages. I'm like, oh, they list the dogs on Wednesday, but a lot of them don't have small dogs, and I wanted a smaller dog. So I saw her on East Coast Adoptions, which I hadn't even put an application in there yet. And it said Chihuahua mix. And I was like, okay, I don't necessarily want a Chihuahua, but she's really cute and she's small. So I put the application, and I'm like, it's not going to get approved. This dog's probably already adopted, even though they listed it 5 minutes ago.
Right.
But that had already happened to me twice. So an hour later, they're like, oh, your application was approved. And then I was freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to actually get this dog. Am I ready? Do I want to do this?
Yeah. No, you were freaking out the night before.
Well, I know you were 100% on board. So
I'm
it wasn't.
Still not.
Yeah. So it was making me more anxious, but she's good.
Yeah. We made it through a couple throw up nights. And you'd be surprised how fast I can get out of bed when I hear the dog go, I gotta go.
It's a new sound for you. I know.
But it wakes me up right out of sleep, easily. If you want to get me out of bed, that's the way to do it.
We're going to talk about this, and she's going to puke tonight because she hasn't in a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got her, I think the 23rd, right?
I'm not sure the exact day. I know
she
it
was
a Friday. So
8 or 9 weeks.
I could probably go back in time. Let's see.
Yeah, because John's party
was the 23rd. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it was the next night, and we didn't want to bring her because of that. Well, we did want to bring her, but it wasn't a great idea.
John's cats are mean.
Yeah.
I don't like dogs.
Yeah. But I get
she's
why.
over there on the couch, hopefully being a good girl.
Yeah, we're going to see how it goes. That's another reason why I haven't done this in so long, because I was kind of afraid that the dogs would be barking or ripping stuff down. So we'll see. It could definitely happen.
Well, she's on the couch sleeping, I think, right now.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I didn't want to put her in her crate because then she's just going to cry because we're still here.
Yeah.
She's in the crate all day. She's just okay in there.
Yeah. No, she's good for the most part. I mean, she doesn't really yelp too much except when she gets excited and
everything she's doing is
typical.
like totally normal puppy stuff. She's not doing anything crazy.
Yeah. No, I just feel bad because I don't really have time, like, after work and stuff, because I'm working for like 12 hours a day, so I don't have time to like leave, come home, let her out, all this nonsense. Wish I did. But
we have people that can help us and come and let her out during the day, but then when I am home, I try to give her all my attention. So
yeah. And in other historical news, we got a new president, so that's
allegedly
different. Yeah, there's a lot of allegations and a lot of he said, she said, or however you say it.
He said,
she said. I blurred
he
my
said,
S's.
She said.
But yeah, so that's exciting though. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Well,
I think we're all gonna get COVID and die.
Well, the election was insane. Like,
yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It was more exciting than watching the Cowboys play this year.
Yeah. Well, it was weird because it was like, it was going. Then like for like 4 days, it was like 213 to whatever it was, like 150 or maybe it was more than that. But it was like the same number for like 2 straight days.
Well, Trump was at 214 and I think Biden was at
253.
Yeah,
I think was
like
the number.
that.
Yeah, sorry. So 253 and 214 was the number for like 3 days. And then I'm like, all right, I don't really care anymore. So, whoever gets in, gets in.
Well, people are saying now, like, obviously Republicans, Trump supporters, whatever, are saying that their election was rigged and it's voter fraud, which I'm not saying voter fraud doesn't exist. No, it
definitely does, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if it's that much or not, but the problem is like the Democrats heavily encourage, like Joe Biden's campaign heavily encouraged voters, as well as all the other Democratic electees, I guess, heavily encouraged voters to vote by mail. And Trump and the Republicans heavily encouraged voters to vote in person, probably to just avoid any, what's the word I'm looking for? Like any bias or any just like mishaps.
Right.
It's like get there and vote so your vote is 100% counted, not like, oh, it got lost in the mail type thing. But a lot of people, I don't know, people were pissed. I think Trump thought he had it in the bag.
Well, there was a lot of hype around Trump specifically because of the whole like Trump train and like there was 96 miles of cars with Trump flags and all that, which is great. Whatever. You support who you support. But I think like it kind of swooned people's mental capacity and they're like, oh, this is going to be a breeze. He's going to go in there, do what Trump does, knock it out of the park.
I was
it didn't really pan out
certain that it was gonna be a sweep for him.
Yeah.
But I guess the Democrats were just quiet, they weren't very boisterous about their thoughts. And then I think there was a lot of people that did support Trump, but not like they were turned off by his reaction and how he handled the pandemic.
Right. Yeah. That was some of it. I know, I was watching Rogan afterwards. They had like a post-election thing with like whatever, a couple people. And they were discussing it, though, and they made some pretty valid points about, like, Trump's 2016 last campaign video, though, was, like, very specific on, like, policy and, like, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that. And Hillary, isn't going to do anything that I'm going to do. And then, like, this one moving forward, it was just, like, him kind of, like, dancing around and kind of, like, pointing and, like,
Are those real?
They were.
I thought they were just,
real.
Like, memes on the internet.
Okay. No, it was his actual campaign video this year. Which is whatever. It just wasn't very strong compared to 2016. 2016, he like came in at it way more aggressively.
I think that's like a perfect example of just how he is. Like in 2000, was it 16?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was like his first, he was running at first for any political thing. So he actually had a campaign. This time he's just like, I'm already in there. Look what I've done. Everybody loves me. Why wouldn't they vote for me? Yeah. I don't need to spend money convincing people why to vote for me. They're just going to already vote because I'm amazing and I'm already here. Look what I've done the last 4 years. Like, that's how he just is as a person.
And another thing is, like, the Dems kept Biden from talking too much, from, like, saying too many things in public, like, stuff like that. So, like, I think that kind of helped, too, because he just didn't really say much. He didn't really put himself out there to be attacked. Yeah. He just kind of played like, oh, I don't really know.
Well,
Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
and then boom, right there.
Just came right out.
Yeah.
But another thing,
I still think they're going to get Kamala Harris in there. I think that's the ultimate plan.
Well,
but
I mean, he did that on purpose.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He might have got a lot of votes just because of her.
Yeah, it's all your supporting cast and all that.
I mean, I don't think that like, oh my god, all of a sudden he's gonna die and Kamala, like that's not gonna happen. But she is a strong running mate,
right?
And people look at it in the way of like, okay, well, the vice president is a very strong advisor for the president, and maybe I like the way, or maybe I like what she stands for, or maybe I like the way she, and this could go the other way too,
right?
Just. I like her, so I'm going to vote for Biden just because she's going to be heavily advising Biden.
Right. No, for sure.
I mean, Biden, I'm sure, heavily advised Barack Obama when he was in office, and just like Mike Pence. I mean, Mike Pence speaks way better than President Trump. I'm like, he would be way better, I think.
No, he definitely does.
Yeah, but I guess that's that. But another thing people were saying with the election, then we could move on because we could talk about this all night.
Forever.
We should have just had an election podcast.
Yeah, we should have. Should have just invited people over and just had a bitch fest.
That would have been a debate in its own.
For sure. I got a lot of political friends.
But people were like, oh, well,
Dylan
nobody
Jones.
even came out to support. Nobody even came out to any Biden rallies. And I'm like, well, he wasn't encouraging that.
Right.
He wasn't encouraging 30,000 people.
Right.
To be out there with no masks on or whatever. And then everyone's like, oh, well, someone's like, well, Trump had all these rallies and nobody had masks on. And everyone's like, oh, but the riots are okay.
Yeah.
It's like, nobody's saying that. And guess what? I saw more people at the riots. First of all, I shouldn't say riots.
Right.
Protests.
Right.
Which there could be protests that are peaceful. There was a lot of them.
Right.
Of course, everyone only focuses on the riots.
Yeah,
but
for sure. It's easy to
I saw more people at protests and riots that had masks on.
So, like I said, it's all media portrayal and all that stuff.
Yeah,
just hype culture.
That's all you see is the bad stuff.
No, that's true. For sure.
You don't see anything good on either end.
The real winners, though, were us because we did Sober October all the way to the 31st, and I made it till 6 p.m., and then I let loose.
Yep.
And I've compensated considerably since then, which I've had to hone it in. But, no, like I said, it was good to challenge ourselves, though, too, to see, if we could do it, which we did it with our Ultra Vs, I think. But, it's always good to have that self-challenge, to always keep yourself motivated.
Which then you don't have to challenge to see how much you can drink and not die for the month of October.
Well, I did kind of go the other way a little bit too much. So now, like I said, I've leveled off, so we're good now.
Hopefully it'll stay leveled.
Yeah, no, just gotta stick to the beer. That's it.
Yeah.
But no, so that's like I said. So just a lot of things happening. Oh, who did we vote for? Let's tell everybody.
We voted for Kanye West.
Kanye West. Boom, out of left field. Didn't see that one coming.
Well, basically, he was on Rogan a week or two before the election, and he was talking about everything. Right. Rogan asked him about his presidential campaign because he had said he was going to run in 2020, and he said things got away from him. And then Elon Musk reached out to him and said not to run in 2020, and then that kind of hinted like maybe they're both preparing for something for 2024. So we'll see. I mean, listening to him speak and the disarray that this country's in right now, I don't really think that he would be a bad candidate. A few years ago, I was like, or a few months ago, I'm like, Kanye West. I'm like, oh my God, if he ever gets to be president, like the world's going to be in shambles. But I think we're pretty much already there. So
we've pretty much already arrived by ourselves on that one. Yeah. So. No, like I said, I agree. That was kind of the main swinging factor because I wasn't really excited about either candidate, either Trump or Biden. I don't know. So I was kind of looking for something different. And then I watched, like I said, Kanye West go on. And he just seemed like he put a lot of critical thinking into his answers and was actually answering direct questions from Joe Rogan about, like, what do you do with the military? Like certain things that, like, we should probably know. So I just think he was, putting a lot of elaborate thought into it, and he's, obviously thought about it before. So I was like, can't be any worse than where we are right now. So, I mean, he could have a reality show with Kim running around, and we'll see how it goes, but
Well, the one thing I like about Rogan is that he has all these people on there, and they could be anywhere from celebrities to scientists to doctors, whoever. But it just puts people in like a different perspective. You know, like everyone thinks these celebrities are a certain way, and maybe they are, but I don't know. It's just when he's sitting there talking to them very candidly, it shows like a different side of people.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Well, I think it kind of takes the pressure off.
You know what he needs to have on? Who he needs to have on there?
Who?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I'm sure he would.
I think that would be a good cover. Hey, Rogan, if you watch this,
tag
get
him. He'll
Taylor
see
Swift.
It. Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know. He's just had some interesting people on, and Lex Friedman also. I can't wait to see his interview. He's gonna have Elon Musk on. I've been looking for it all week, and it hasn't happened yet. So I'm sure Elon's, had a lot going on, hence the SpaceX thing tonight. So he's probably been a little busy. But I think that they are going to get something together soon, which I always like talking about AI and robots in the future and what have you. So I can't wait to hear that. Should be really interesting.
Yeah. I know you love your SpaceX.
I do. And like I said, the Elon Kanye thing has me pretty excited about 2024, just that potentially it could happen.
I really think in the 34 episodes that we've had of this podcast that you have mentioned Elon Musk in every single one of them.
Probably.
Every single one.
I do follow him pretty close.
Yeah.
So he hasn't followed me back, though. I feel kind of shunned.
Every single podcast.
I don't know. Just because he's doing things like every week.
It's the Trav and Riss and Elon Musk podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on. I sent him in an inbox. We'll see what happens.
Have your people call my people.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get my agent on it.
My first. People is me.
Gotta hire him.
Call me.
So in lighter news, Kate Winslet broke a record for holding her breath for 7 minutes and 14 seconds for the new Avatar movie, Underwater.
Wait, the new Avatar movie?
I guess there's a new one.
The hell's that?
I guess there's a new one.
Like the Blue People Avatar?
Mm-hmm.
Kate Winslet's in it?
Yep.
She wasn't in the first one.
Nope.
Interesting. I thought you were going to say Titanic. I'm like, Trav,
no.
This was like...
Well, she probably had a lot of
20
practice.
Years ago.
She was on a box with John, whatever his name was. Elon.
Jack.
Or, what's his name?
Leo.
There you go. Couldn't think of his name. Yeah. Leo DiCaprio. But yeah, so she's probably had some practice,
That's
underwater. But yeah, no, 7 minutes is a long time. I can't hold my breath for probably 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But it was previously held by Tom Cruise, I guess.
Oh.
So yeah, pretty interesting though. Little Snapple fun fact for you.
Do you want to talk about the extremely depressing news?
Yeah, we can. RIPs, the RIP session.
Well, however long, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, Sean Connery died.
He passed away.
James Bond, the original James Bond.
The Rock, Nicolas Cage.
Yep. And then fucking Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
Which I literally
Jeopardy.
Said to Travis.
Jeopardy.
Like 3 weeks ago when we were watching Jeopardy, because I'm a huge Jeopardy and huge Alex Trebek fan. Mm-hmm. I was like, if Alex Trebek dies in 2020, like, I'm fucking done. I'm done. There's just no point.
Right.
Like, bring on the zombies. Where's the end of the world? Let's do this. Like, why? But I had a feeling it was going to happen because he got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer a year and a half ago, which I was very depressed from that news.
Usually takes you down pretty quick.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that he said,
it's a shit show.
A year and a half is probably the max. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit longer. But
well, one of the things that we saw, it was like, I forget if it was like 2 or 3 episodes before he passed away. We were actually watching it. That one guy said that he like learned English from watching Alex Trebek on Jeopardy.
Yeah, and they had like a very emotional moment. But when you think about it, like Alex Trebek has been in our homes he hosted Jeopardy for I think 34 years.
Yeah, it was forever.
It's older than me. He's been the host of Jeopardy longer than I've been alive.
Yep. And he still had like the same, I don't know, it was like the same demeanor, but it was always like exciting, exhilarating. Mm-hmm. It was never like, what is blah, 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 correct. Like he never got like, and I don't know.
Now it's coming out, like the behind the executives and stuff have been saying that, like just how amazing he really is, because there was days where they were like, he was just in so much pain. But he still like was trucking on, like it didn't let him affect like his demeanor on the show.
Yeah. No, and that shows a lot of character, especially when you have that kind of pressure on you week after week doing this type of stuff.
But he wanted to do it. Like
What's his life,
I mean, I guess right before his diagnosis, he had signed a contract like that extended his contract like another 4 or 5 years. And then he got diagnosed, and I don't think anyone was like forcing him to be there. He just wanted to, like that was his life. And but I also read
and good for him for working. He could have retired. He was making enough money. It's not good to show up.
Right.
But he's still like, I'm just gonna go to work.
But I was reading something too, like I saw something before, like this was like, I don't know, in the middle of the diagnosis. Like he sat down and had an interview, and he said that it was like really overwhelming as a celebrity to be sick like that, because he said he was getting like overwhelming amounts of mail and
sure.
people, and it's like he said he's like it's like great to have the support, but then a lot of people like look to him to be like, oh my god, like I have pancreatic cancer, my mother had it, or my father it's overwhelming, especially like when everybody knows who you are, Right.
And then you feel obligated to give an answer, otherwise they're going to say you're a bad person.
Yeah, he basically was just like, it's just very overwhelming and stressful, but he did like appreciate all the support that people gave him.
Yeah, that's
but
tough.
I mean, a lot of it, it is like, it's like people look to other people, especially celebrities, just for comfort.
Right.
And like he said, it was hard to like kind of be that face of hope or like comfort or whatever to people.
Well, that's the problem, I think, is like at the end of the day is, in celebrity world, like average people like us look to them as like they're the answer. Like they figured it out. We don't know what the hell's going on, but they figured it out.
Well, that's probably why that Chadwick Boseman like didn't tell anyone he had cancer.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
He didn't want people
especially
to look
literally
at him
being a superhero in a movie. And then you have that. That's another hero.
And then
status
Al Roker
thing,
just announced that he has prostate cancer.
Oh, really? Jesus.
But I guess he had surgery, and I guess it went well. I mean, prostate cancer is a very highly curable cancer.
Right.
I feel like pancreatic is basically a death sentence.
Yeah, pancreatic's bad shit.
Prostate isn't always a death sentence if you catch it early. And I mean, he's that age where he's probably going for his routine tests, and they would catch it right away. So, I mean, it seems to be, I guess, okay. Like, prognosis is good, but he's another one. If you come on. Al Roker. I love Al Roker.
Face of the morning show.
Alex Trebek, Al Roker. I love them.
Yep. No, excited. Yeah, he's like my favorite on the morning show. Everyone else is a jerk off.
Well, it's funny because I like Jennifer Lawrence a lot.
Yeah.
She's
J-Lo. Yeah, she's good shit.
I think she's just like cool or whatever, but she's like one of my favorite actresses.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. She's funny too. Like
and when she was at like the Oscars or something, and they were interviewing her, and they're like, Jennifer, who's a celebrity that you would like most like to meet? And she's like, Al Roker. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah. He's like always jacked up in the morning. He's ready to go. Like I can't get out of bed and be that excited about 2 to 3 p.m. something like that. But they're ready to go. Yeah. He's always amped up, happy to tell you about the weather or whatever. Here's the so and so, hands it off.
He went to SUNY Oswego.
Oh, did he really? That's awesome.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that. Little Snapple fun fact for upstate people. What else we got?
He'll like talk about it a lot on the shit. He'll be like, I went to SUNY Oswego.
Oh, really?
He'll be like, Oswego, all the snow where I went to school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never heard him say it or mention it. Lighter note here. We're trying to figure out what show to watch next. We have no idea what's going on or who we are most of the time just because of our schedule. But
I really liked The Witcher.
Yeah, The Witcher was pretty decent. We watched the first episode of that last night.
I liked it.
I was going to do a comparison in The Viking or The Witcher, so we started watching The Witcher, but then we didn't get to the
we finished The Witcher, and then you fell asleep like 5 minutes into the Vikings, but...
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
I don't know, I didn't... Right off the bat, I liked The Witcher better.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just had a weird vibe with the Vikings.
Yeah.
Their weird way they talk gives me anxiety.
Yeah, well, they're not from here, so... but no, yeah, The Witcher was good. It was kind of, I tried to watch it like, what was more like Game of Thrones-esque.
It is.
And it found that they said The Witcher was, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why we're in the middle of that, so if anyone has any, references as to what we should watch or what's good now.
I still have a list of like shows from back in the day that we never watched that.
Yeah.
Like,
which ones? I don't even remember.
God, I don't even know. I have a whole list on my phone. And
yeah. Gone. Well, like I said, we could always rehash it too and see.
Like I had The Walking Dead, which we watched. I had like Dexter.
Oh yeah, Dexter. I heard that was really good. That's a good one too. But that's like a bunch of other
stuff.
Like he's a doctor, serial killer or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So We could watch that, though.
I had a bunch of stuff like that just was like from like Mad Men. I think I was on
Mad
there.
Men's good,
Just a bunch of stuff from like that. But I like to watch new stuff too, though. I could like stay relevant with people. Like I like to like have conversations with people. Like for me to sit down and binge watch a show by myself, I'm just like I need to like discuss it. Like I like to share it with you. Like I like to watch it with you and have someone like to talk about with you and like say things out loud like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened or whatever. And then I like to also talk about it with other people like at work and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I really got is shows right now.
Did you watch last night's episode?
Yeah. You know. I mean, we had the Cowboys, but they suck. So
Cowboys didn't play today.
Suck. It's like Division 3 out there. It's awful.
I think Proctor High School could probably beat them.
Yeah, it's I can't even watch it.
Scary.
It's like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like easily. It's like they're just gonna fumble, intercept, or go like 4th and 50. Like I'm not like that's every single drive. So
the last game they only went for freaking field goals. One of the games. I don't even know which one it was.
Yeah, they suck. But whatever. So moving on. There is made a sticky note. November 8th, Virgin did a Hyperloop. So they successfully completed a passenger test on the Hyperloop on November 8th. So the plan is to ultimately have a pod that carries up to 28 passengers at a time and light luggage. How it works is basically it's kind of like an above or below ground like subway system essentially.
Kind of like a monorail.
But you're in a pod and it's not any way mechanical like a subway is. Like there's no, wheels or anything like that. You're basically in a magnetic like tube that you levitate and it can basically go at faster speeds because of that, because you're always going to be centered within a certain range and it can go even on elevation, which obviously trains can't like go up or down because of that, like steep inclines because of the rails. So that was the 8th. But the plan is also, like I said, it's going to totally make transportation a lot easier. The test that they're looking to do is from LA to San Francisco. The average would be 43 minutes. On an airplane, it's about an hour and a half, so it cuts it down by about half the time. You're looking at about a 45-minute time savings. So, and it's also solar panel driven, so it's not going to be any sort of, like I said, whatever gas or anything like that. They're just going to use solar panels to power electricity and everything. So, should be pretty interesting though. They did 387 average mile per hour. They did 400 tests, and like I said, they're just continuing to go on with it. So. They only have that one, but they're working on it. It's, early phase, but it should be a couple years out.
The future.
Yeah. I still think Elon's got it in his back pocket though. I'm sure he's working on something with that because it was, him and Virgin go back and forth and Jeff Bezos with things. Mm-hmm. However, he's kicking ass in the rocket field currently. Yeah. So, yeah, but that was one of the interesting things that happened this month as well for those keeping track. We got Jones Jr. and Tyson coming up this month, 28th.
2 days after Thanksgiving.
Yep. So don't forget, I mentioned it previously in a previous podcast, but just a little side note, tune into that on the 28th, see what'll happen. We're Team Roy Jones Jr. So we got the shirts. They just came in. So
ordered them 2 months ago.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell was up with their whoever's doing their shipping, but they were awful. Yeah. Khabib retired this month, 29-0. After he lost his father this year, he promised his mother he wouldn't fight anymore. So he's the first MMA to retire a champion and undefeated. Nice. So that's a huge little side note there as well.
I'm sure he'll come back in the future, but maybe not.
Yeah, and like I said, he might just need a little hiatus. His dad passed away. He promised his mom. He won the fight. He's probably just riding a high and a low at the same time now, and just needs a little bit of space. So you got to kind of have that sometimes when you're doing such a, physically demanding sport like MMA. Electronic voting. We had a little bit of like voter stuff. Yeah, we got like the Hummer coming out.
The Hummer?
Yeah, the Hummer. So what's great about the Hummer is that it's just an idiot mobile. Another one? Yeah, and it's going to be electric.
And Avatar, I can't handle it.
I know, there's so much going on. But yeah, so the new Hummer is going to be electronic. So it basically goes against any previous Hummer because, the Hummer is basically known as being a badass weapon, more or less, that gets 0 miles to the gallon and can just kill whatever in its way, run over everything. So the new one's going to be electric, and compared to the Cybertruck, I guess, let's see what I have. It books out base model $79.99, so $79,999 for base model, and it goes up to a loaded $112,000 truck that can crab walk, so it can go like it can raise itself, lower itself, sidestep, do things like that if you want to spend that kind of money. Or you can get the Cybertruck, which I would go with anyway, for $39.
Because Elon Musk.
Yeah, so $39.99 though. And up to $70,000 for a full self-driving. You can add $10,000 either way. So at most you'd spend $79.99 for a full self-driving Cybertruck, compared to that's basically just the base model of the EV Hummer. So, but like I said, it's a symbol of status if you get an EV Hummer, just because it's a
I don't
Hummer.
think that Cybertruck it's like weird looking. It looks fake.
Yeah, exactly. I'd get the one with the ATV though.
I
You
like
can buy
the
the
Tesla
ATV.
SUVs.
There's actually a combo. You can get an electric ATV and the truck. That would be the shit. Because then I would just leave it in it and just drive it around. I'd never take it off the back of the thing. But just because you can,
Right.
My next job. What else?
Here comes my yawning. I yawn on every podcast.
Oh, I think we're on episode 33. Side note, so I might be
Not
one
34.
off. I might be one off. It's okay.
Yikes.
Don't really care. We can do a little blooper reel.
Whoop, whoop.
Just a little side note. I don't
Start
know, just
over.
Something Kanye. Yeah, right. Bring it back. Shut it down. Just a little side note of something that Kanye said. That people give advice arrogantly sometimes. So when they don't do anything but tell you what to do, only listen to those who are doing things that you want to do, or get information that can help you innovate on a task you have for yourself. Because he said that, he got advice from like Oprah about running the country and stuff. Like he came to her as like an advisor as far as like what he should do.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I wouldn't ask just some random person that like doesn't have it together, doesn't know a lot of things, like what to do. Same thing with like business. Like you don't go to someone who doesn't own a business and ask them how to run it. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense.
A lot of times when people give advice, they're still thinking of themselves.
Correct.
Not of you. They don't objectively give
a fuck
or unbiasedly give advice.
An opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or like I said, it's a competitive thing. A lot of times in business this happens. People will give competitive advice that is counterintuitive. So they'll give you bad information to give them the competitive advantage.
Yeah. Like,
so,
should I apply for this job? I don't you're not going to get it. I don't think so. Right. Your job's not going to be secure if you get that job. But it's like they just don't want either you to move up at all or they want that job.
Yeah. And then you see Tiffany in the corner on Monday. Bitch.
Tiffany out. You got the job?
Oh my God.
I didn't even know you
thought
were
we
applying.
just talked about those.
Well.
But yeah, no, so just like I said, little things that I was catching up on in the middle of my other nonsense. Anything you're reading?
I'm still reading the Michelle Obama book.
Oh, you're still reading. Okay. Good.
All right, here's my thing. I don't 110% enjoy reading. No, I do. Oh. I just like reading autobiographies or biographies or whatever, like true stuff. Fiction? Mm-hmm. Nonfiction,
right. About people. Yeah. Yep, nonfiction. But that's usually my forte.
You love that. And I don't know. I like it, but it's just not exciting for me. Like I like to read because it gives me an escape to reality.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like a pile of shit doing it. Like if I could binge watch 1,400 shows, but I feel like a pile of shit. I feel like at least if I'm reading, even if it's fiction, you're still learning something.
Right.
Because like a lot of authors do put real things in their books, but it's just a fake story. But you might actually learn something.
Yeah, like principles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't, like, I'm halfway through the Michelle Obama book, Becoming, so I don't want to just stop it. I can't
You're already too vested.
I can't,
you're too far forward now.
Yeah, I can't just be like, oh, screw this, I'm not going to finish it. Like, if it takes me a year and a half, I will, but I also don't like to read more than one book at one time.
Right.
But I'm, like, halfway through it, and it's getting better now, because, like, the first good chunk of it was, like, about her childhood and stuff, and just her growing up. Excuse me, which wasn't uninteresting. It's just I'm not like, oh, I love Michelle Obama. Like,
right, yeah.
I just wanted to read it like objectively. But now it's getting to the point where she like meets Barack.
Oh, okay.
So
it's gonna get way more interesting.
Yeah, and I think this part is gonna be like now I just got to the part where they like just started dating. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be more interesting now once they go through like marriage and the political
parts of it.
Yeah, and just like her aspects of being in the White House, because it actually started with she had mentioned something about how it was weird that when they first moved out of the White House, how she like got up to make a grilled cheese or something, and it was just so weird that there wasn't like 40 Secret Service people around her. It was just quiet and whatever. And then a fun fact, I didn't know this, obviously I don't think many people do, but she was a lawyer, so was Barack. She graduated from Harvard, and she started working at a law firm in Chicago because that's where she was from. Mm-hmm. And Barack Obama was her summer intern that she was supposed to be mentoring. And he showed up late on the first day. Showed up late. She's like, where the hell is this guy?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I guess she wasn't even interested in him at all, like at first. And then, but they just spent a lot of time together. And then she realized after that she like did
actually like him.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
But it was a gradual thing. And that's like, again,
it wasn't love at first sight. There wasn't all the sparks.
And that's where I, go, because we've talked about this before about like having a spark, and everyone's like, well, it doesn't have a spark and it's not meant to be. But I think that it's not supposed to be like that. I think it's supposed to be gradual.
I can only talk for myself, and usually spark means fire.
Yeah. Run away.
So it's going to burn down on top of you. That's usually what a spark means, at least for me. I don't know about other people. I can only speak for myself.
Well, even like in literature, when you're reading about books, like the Hunger Games, they talk about like a spark that, like the spark that like lit the fire for the Hunger Games or for this or for the revolution. Like, it's not always like a good thing.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah.
Sparks cause fires.
Exactly.
So
I'm reading a financial literacy book. I'm just doing a little refresher. So it's all about like accounting and, I don't know.
Which is actually funny because I ordered this book because I'm taking, the class I was going to take.
Actually, yeah, it's because
required this book. And then he's like reading it. I'm like, what are you doing with my school book? And he goes, oh, I thought this was my book. And I'm like, that's mine. That's for school.
Yeah.
And then you had the same book because you took that class a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So now you're just rereading it.
Yeah. So it's just like a refresher. Sometimes you got to sharpen the skill set. But I kind of want to get one about, I think, like either engineering or rocket science and just see if I can struggle through it.
Christmas
to get
is coming up, so don't go crazy.
Yeah. But I think
maybe Santa. Maybe Santa will bring you a book.
I think I want to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
Ultimately. Yeah.
I don't know if you can now.
I'm probably too old. I don't know, though. You got to have probably 20 years or some nonsensical experience, I'm sure. So if I start now, I could be 50 up in a spaceship, SpaceX.
You're like a little boy. All little boys want to be astronauts when they grow up.
I want to touch the moon. I want to get some data, bring it back.
Okay.
I think it'd be interesting as fuck. I don't know. I just need something to stimulate. I've been kind of dying at work lately, mentally, I think. Just a lot of stress and just trying to have a little outsource. Besides a podcast, it's healthy. Besides going on benders.
Yeah, I was going to say, it does not stimulate your brain is getting hammered.
Track. Yeah, for sure. Facts. But yeah. Oh, there's one more thing I did want to cover. Elon Musk related. Starlink beta testing is up. So you can actually get the wireless internet that he talks about. It's up and running. You can get it for $99 a month for the subscription. $4.99 for the tripod router user terminal, or for a better tripod to get a better connection, it's up to $600. The good thing about it is it's a little steep as far as price goes, at least for right now. But the good thing is that it's rocking upwards of 175 as far as speed goes. So it's a lot faster. I mean, granted, ours high speed internet you can be 150s usually, but they're saying they're already getting pings at 175. That's stable. So it's probably actually really good.
Yeah.
But like I said, still early stage, so I'd give it a little bit, let the price come down.
Yeah, I'm not getting that right now.
No, a little bit too much overhead. And our internet's, okay for what
we don't do anything crazy that
Yeah.
It works fine.
We're not running NASA down here.
Exactly.
So, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah. So and our internet works fine for that.
Very manageable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything for underrated, overrated this week?
I don't have anything.
No.
I can try to come up with some stuff on a whim.
Okay. What can come to mind?
Dogs.
Overrated. Headphones.
Overrated.
Overrated. What do you think? First episode.
Oh yeah, these are
headphones.
new. They're just it's weird.
It is weird.
Because I'm like muffled, like your voice to me is muffled and my voice is like muffled, but then I can hear it in the speakers and I hate hearing my voice, so it's awful. And then every time I breathe in, or
you can hear it. Right.
And I do these like bad. I'm trying not to do it. I heard myself a couple times, and I'm like opening my mouth. I'm like.
So honestly, this is a manipulation tactic by me because when I edit it, I hear going.
It's not even that like.
So I have to edit it out, which no one else hears it because I edit it.
How I open my mouth. That's why I'm just when I'm opening now. I'm like. I'm trying not to do it.
Yeah. Well, it is weird hearing your own voice, but that's why I did it because I know that you don't usually listen to the podcast after we do it. Yeah. So I think it's good to kind of have that self-honesty right in your head.
Now you tell me.
From here to here.
Yeah. Thank
you.
you.
You're in control.
Thanks.
Side to side.
I think I did a little better this time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it is funny because there's a little bit of trail also. So like you say it, but then it kind of echoes a little bit later in the playback. So no one out here knows what the hell we're talking about, but that is very fun to talk about.
People that do sound or use headphones do.
But I really only got it to help me with the editing, just because it'll eliminate background noise. It'll help us with not breathing in, because my problem was I'd breathe in. I'd get excited to go. I'd suck in really hard.
A couple times I feel like Trump when he's like, the ventilators are great. And he's like, you can hear him breathing in.
Sucking it in.
I'm like, this is what you mean.
This is our level of hell. So.
It's beautiful. Everything's beautiful.
Kanye Musk 2024.
Kanye Musk. Oh, let's one little thing I want to mention.
Okay, mention it.
Well, I just think we should talk about the COVID stuff quickly.
Yeah. So you start.
Okay, so for just like a little update. So I mean, obviously everyone in our area knows that Oneida County's numbers have been like skyrocketing. Everyone's saying I did it again. Everyone's saying that the numbers are going up over the country. Obviously, we're hearing a lot about our county because our county was never really bad, and now we're having numbers that are the highest they've ever been, which I guess they're equating to like school sports and parties and weddings and stuff that people are having privately. But it's like if you have 30 people at a house, like you don't know where everyone's been, and then they're coming here and then they're going who knows where. But whatever, I mean, they're just talking about that. Pasenti had like at a press conference, he had 2 last week. And the first one, he said, listen, like everyone just needs to keep abiding by the rules. Like he wasn't really talking about bars and restaurants, but he just said, just in general, like limit your gatherings. Like this isn't gone yet. He said he doesn't want to shut anything down. It's not in he doesn't want businesses to fail, Yeah. And then about a day or two after that press conference, Cuomo announced a new order that all bars and restaurants and basically any place that had a state liquor license had to close at 10 p.m. And then he said they have to be closed from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. because everyone's like, just open back up at midnight. It's like, you can't do that. Yeah. So 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. That included gyms, which I think is stupid for the gyms because nobody's like, there's not a lot of people that go to the gym after 10 p.m.
Right. I would go just because you get out of work at
right,
8,
but like some people, like what if you work the night shift and you get out at 11 or you get out at 2 a.m. Like that would be like going at 4 or 5 p.m. So like people are like, okay, now I got to go to before work and I got to go at 4 p.m.
Right, which is gonna have more people there.
And there's 7,500 people there.
Yeah. If anything, it would have been better to have like minimum capacity before and then just keep it open at night. Just because, like I said, you're gonna make it worse in the morning, right? Because then you have more people that would have gone at night in the morning. Doesn't make sense.
So he said that, and then he also had said that he was meeting with governors from other states, like in the Northeast, to go about what they're, talking about. He said we should limit gatherings, including Thanksgiving, to 10 people per household. That does not include the people that live at the household. So if there's 5 people in a house,
it's plus, right?
Plus
lives
10,
there. Right?
But then Pacenti had another like emergency press conference where he said, listen, the numbers are bad. Like I think Wednesday they had 74 new cases in one day.
Yeah.
And then Thursday they had 70. And then Friday they had like 108 new cases. And I think Saturday they had 99. Right. That's a lot, like every single day.
Every day.
I guess there's like 40 people in the hospital right now with it. So that's what they're getting concerned about, because 40 people is a lot for St. Luke's and St. E's. They don't have that many beds, so they don't want the hospital to get inundated, which is what they were worried about back in March and April. Right. Now this is like happening again. Right. And Pacenti just said we're going to monitor the numbers. And I mean, he's like, I don't have any choice but to take drastic measures if they keep going up. I mean, I think they're going to keep going up. They're not just going to stop over, if you got exposed a week ago, you're still in, you might not have gotten tested until a week or two later. And so, I mean, I think the numbers are just going to keep going up, but I think Halloween had a big thing to do with it. I
know Chicago, they're like closing down.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think that's happening.
I think we're gonna also probably like in December, if it doesn't get like toned down. Mm-hmm. I think, I can just see it happening. I think we're more able to counter it because of the masks and because of how businesses are set up to prevent it and, be proactive.
We know a little more now.
Right. Compared to before when we had no history, we had no idea how to do anything. Yep. Now we at least have Germ-X, we got glassing, whatever, in front of people that are doing sales and stuff. So we have some stuff that can limitate that disease, or it's not disease, but whatever the hell it is. Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think we're heading that way, and I don't know if it's going to be Pacenti that's going to do it for Oneida County, or if it's just going to end up being like Cuomo putting in an order before, even the local people have to do,
Yeah, the only thing that does worry me is that if they do close down business, again, as the small business catastrophe that it will happen. Mm-hmm.
Well, even Pacenti, like, he had warned, like, he's like, listen, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not trying to, ruin the economy. Right. And he said, he's like, another lockdown is not going to be good. He's like, there's no government stimulus this time. There's no, there's no extra unemployment benefits. Like, people had it made back in, March. Yeah, we shut down now and you get laid off. You're getting minimum. You're getting the minimum.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know.
The maximum unemployment, whatever it is.
It's going to be a huge issue if it does happen. Like
any businesses, like smaller businesses that barely made it out, they have to shut down again. They're not making it out.
Right. Because like I said, if they barely made it by the first time, they can't have enough funds to make it by the second time. It just doesn't.
And then another thing too is like restaurants. Like they don't have to close completely. They can do takeout. But like perfect example, I guess I'll do a shout out. My cousin owns a bakery in Herkimer. It's called Clicks Cake. So check that out. He does cheesecakes, specialty cheesecakes, pastry trays and stuff like that, but he's now starting to do like foods. So like on Sundays he does like sauce, long hots, and meatballs. On Wednesdays I think he does chicken riggies. Like each day he has a special. Right. He's gonna be like expanding and doing more lunch stuff like after January. But like he told me, he's like he kind of shut down a little bit in the summer and like didn't do much, and now he's trying to get back in the swing of things. But he was like, I could stay open and do takeout, but it's like that I can't get things.
Right.
Like he couldn't get
supplies
like
and stuff.
You can't get almond paste. Like he can't get a lot of it. And he's very limited as it is. He's not like Delmonico's that has 150 things on their menu. Right. He's very limited at what he could get. Like when he said his supplier was sending him cream cheese that wasn't Philadelphia, and he's like, it doesn't taste the same. He's like, I'm not making my cheesecakes with this. It's not the same. It's not the same thing that my customers are used to. Yeah. Right. So it's like also that, because
it's a problem.
I didn't realize that. I mean, I guess like initially I didn't realize that in the first place, like why businesses, it like wasn't just that they weren't getting the business, they couldn't get the supplies, products, and then if they did, it was super expensive, and it's like not worth it.
Well, Viva had the same problem. Remember, shout out another person, Van Avery's Sandwich Shop. he does a lot of things with like meats and spices and things like that, like high quality premium stuff. And he said the same thing. You couldn't get, like mangoes, certain like, I don't know, spices and things that he was using. He just couldn't get his hands on it.
Right.
So it limits what you can do, what you can produce.
Right. Yeah.
So that's, it limits, your opportunity as far as making money.
Well,
for sure.
Hopefully it won't be bad again, but we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, hopefully not.
Just wanted to give an update. I'm sure everyone knows that already, but I feel like it was relevant to talk about.
Yeah,
so.
No, definitely. And if, check it out. Check the numbers. Stay updated. Stay informed.
Yeah.
I'm not your parents or your dad, mom, but just, the more information that you know, the better for yourself as well to stay safe and, proactive.
Yes.
So.
I think that concludes episode 33.
All right. 33,
34,
it's on
30
my
something.
phone. Yeah, we're in the 30s. I'm going to be like Joe Rogan. I'm just going to put a number 1,400, whatever, from now on.
Make it look better.
Yeah, exactly. But so thanks for tuning in, guys. And sorry for the delay. We'll be back next week.
Yes.
We'll see you. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.